ESPN Films and ESPNW present Nine for Nine Shorts.
Rousey, as we have seen before, so focused when she enters into combat.
It's unbelievable! Ronda Rousey does it again!
The day that I decided to do MMA, I decided I wanted to be the UFC champion. I don't do anything to be okay at it. In my family, we're encouraged to do whatever it is that you want to do. You just have to be the best in the world at it. Everyone discouraged me from doing MMA. Everybody did. None of the guys that I trained with, even the guys that said that I would do really well, said not to do it. My mom said it was the stupidest idea. My old judo coaches pretty much told me to go to screw myself, and they wouldn't do a single thing to help me, and that I was wasting all of my talent.
There you go. Keep it 45-degree angle. Perfect. Time.
Well, I thought it was a dumb idea because, like I said, it was like me saying, I'm going to make my living in competitive knitting. When Ronda started in mixed martial arts, there were no women in the UFC. There was Strikeforce, and there were a few smaller promotions that put on women's fights, and they paid very little. And at the amateur, of course, they paid nothing. And so it was very disorganized and unprofessional. There were many people who thought this was not a proper thing for women to do.
My mom was the mentor and architect of my whole career. You know, she kept me disciplined, and my work ethic is definitely from her. She was the first American to ever win the World Championships in Judo back in 1984.
Happiness for Anne-Marie Burns.
My first Olympics was in 2004, and I didn't medal that time around. So I went back in 2008, and I was 21, to Beijing and got a bronze medal. The uncertainty after the Olympics was really hard, because after the high of having the medal, I fell into this deep depression of just not having any goals. I just kind of felt like I was done with judo. And judo wasn't making me happy anymore, and so I had to figure something out.
Just one round, okay?
I remember going into MMA gyms and boxing gyms and feeling kind of embarrassed and out of place and not really welcome and not taken seriously. I would be super self-conscious, and I would be envious of the kind of respect that I saw some of the guys in the gym receiving.
When she came to the gym, I was like, a girl doing MMA, it makes no sense. What is she gonna make? I didn't even know her last name. But I was like, okay, it's a girl, like, I don't want to leave her down, you know? She's an Olympic medalist, I gotta respect her already. When I warmed her up in the locker room, I knew that she was a fighter. That explosiveness, that spirit, the way she warmed up, the way she was looking at my eyes when I was giving her pointers, I knew what a fighter is. I trained world champions. I said, okay, this girl can fight. Combination.
This is from the Kano Cup, which is not very famous outside of judo maybe, but it is probably one of the toughest tournaments in the world, right there at the World Championships. So she got a silver medal in that. She won the US Open a bunch of times, so that's one of them. Now we tell her every day on the way to practice, on the way home, Rhonda, you can win a gold medal. You can win a gold medal in the Olympics. And so I think having that belief in herself has helped her whole life. So, you know, I wonder how things would have been different if her father hadn't passed away. She was 8 years old when he died. He was super proud of Ronda. She always missed her dad. I almost think that everybody who's a successful athlete has to feel like there's something missing they want to fill. When she went into the octagon for the first time and won, it was sort of, this is to show that Dad was right when he told me all those times when he drove me to swim meets that you're going to be the best in the world, you're going to be the best in the world, and Dad was right.
If my dad didn't die when I was a kid, we probably would have stayed in North Dakota. I never would have done judo. My great-grandmother, one of her famous lines was, God always knows what he's doing, even if you don't. And so I always try to keep in mind that of all the worst things that happen in my life, the best things that happen in my life are a direct result of those things. I like to say every fall is a day of hard work. It's my moment of truth. See where it falls. The one thing that I saw wrong when I started in MMA was all the girls were playing the Miss America role, and they were so scared of any criticism that no one gave a damn about their fights. And it wasn't like that there were bad fights, there were good fights, but nobody cared. And so I somehow needed to make my fights personal to the people watching it. And I realized that I didn't want everybody to love me, I didn't want everybody to hate me. I needed people to disagree about it. I needed there to be talk. Can I swear on this?
I don't see why not.
Well, girls wanted to start talking shit, so I started talking shit. I mean, come on. That girl deserves the beating that she's going to get at some point. She can't avoid me forever.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that put some people off, but then those same people started talking about her. And if they're talking about you, then they're going to watch your fight. It's that, one of the other lines I think she stole from Muhammad Ali was, love me or hate me, but just debate me.
If there was anyone that I had to convince that women's MMA was worth the UFC's time and investment, it was Dana White.